Every vanishing act uses distraction to divert attention away from what's really happening, the magic trick. This is Holy Trinity Church, Stratford-upon-Avon, where Shakespeare's buried. Here's his grave, his monument, and this is the Holy of Holies altar stone, which mysteriously went missing around about the time of the bard's death. 3 tons of solid marble, 9 foot long, 3 feet wide, 2 foot deep, just disappeared. It was found 273 years later, hidden just inches beneath the church. It's quite some vanishing act. But by the time it was found, no one made the connection between these two events. A couple of years ago, I performed excerpts from my Shakespeare musical, just inches from the grave, right here. During rehearsal, I erected a huge promotional banner, but its real purpose was to hide the altar from view. The church is heavily protected, of course. Alarms, 24-hour CCTV cameras, even a forensic system that sprays intruders with a chemical detectable for up to a year. Don't risk it. 100% conviction rate. I wasn't doing a David Copperfield. When the performance was over, the altar stone was still there. No one had seen my team behind the banner. So what was going on? Why were we risking arrest and imprisonment? Christopher Nolan's magic movie, The Prestige, says people don't applaud when you make something disappear. You have to bring it back. Shakespeare pulled off the greatest vanishing act ever. He wrote nearly 1 million words, but left not one play or poem, not a page, not a line, not a word in his own hand, just 6 barely legible signatures, all spelled differently. Handwriting experts can't even agree that we're all written by the same person. The ultimate writer never wrote a letter to anyone. At the height of his fame, no one even reported seeing anyone who claimed to be the poet or the playwright, and when he died, not a single eulogy. No one noticed. The Stratford establishment sweeps all this aside and says it's quite normal for the time period, but it's not. 24 of his closest contemporaries all left plenty of evidence of their writing careers. Only Shakespeare's record is a complete blank. Naturally, this has caused many to doubt the official story. But as Sherlock Holmes says, when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Well, a 3-ton rock doesn't just get mislaid, nor does every single trace of the most famous 25-year career. What remains, therefore, in both cases is the disappearance was intentional. If we start from there and search logically, we're far more likely to find the truth. If it is the Stratford man, we should clear his name, yes, and if it's not, we should put the crown on the right head. When I started this journey a decade ago, that's all I wanted to do. I'm a classically trained musician, so for the first 2 years, I was writing it as a musical. But I soon found out many scholars suspect he left a code revealing where he hid the manuscripts, and I started to see it more as a Da Vinci Code type thriller. Another 2 years, the book was finished, and at the end, I had my heroine announce she's cracked the code, revealing where Shakespeare hid everything and why. The only thing was I didn't have an actual code. I rationalized, well, if Dan Brown can do it, I'll just make one up. But my conscience kept nagging me. What if you get on Charlie Rose? You can't tell him you've never been to Stratford. You haven't seen his grave. Have you even tried to find a real code? It just wouldn't stop. I was shamed into booking a ticket. But that trip changed the entire purpose of everything I was writing and the next 6 years of my life. Has it ever happened to you? You meet all the right people at exactly the right time. Every door swings wide open. First day there, my goal was to get close-up pictures of the whole grave area. It's impossible. It's closed off to the public. I've been inside the church 10 minutes. Out of nowhere, a man introduces himself. Tall, suit and tie, polished shoes, steers me over to the vicar, snaps a picture of us. We get chatting. I tell him I'm researching a book. He's the head verger, John Shield, and for 18 years, he's been documenting every square inch of the church. He says he's got tens of thousands of photographs. Would I like to see some? An hour later, I'm having tea at his home, looking through hard drives of world-class pictures, stunning quality. He says I can use any I want for my book. Drives me back to the church, and we bump into the woman who runs the fundraising committee. She hears my Manchester accent. She says, "Ooh, you sound just like Davy Jones." She's a huge Monkees fan. I couldn't make this up if I tried. I was Davy Jones's musical director for years. I ghost wrote his autobiography. I created an award-winning graphics book, Mutant Monkeys. I give her and John signed copies, naturally, and now I'm in like Flynn.